Welcome back to Ready, Set, Sold. I'm your host, Bryan Vogt, and with me today I have Kelly Etheridge.
Hi, everyone.
And I have Kathy Popovich.
Hey, everybody.
And they are team members. They are fantastic people and great at what they do. So happy to have them on the team. And what we're talking about today, and specifically, is why it's such a great time to put your house on the market. And this is what realtors, especially top realtors, fight usually all year long at this time of year, that sellers say, well, I'm going to wait till spring, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. There's various reasons for it. But one of the things that we hear often is by putting your house on the market in this season, that they won't get top dollar. They won't make as much money. They can't possibly make as much money. And simply, it's not every time. Every situation is a little bit different. But that's not usually the reason why you wouldn't get it, because that would happen any time during the year. Your location is your location. And what I mean by that is what's going on in your marketplace is a combination of 3 months, and I put this in the book. There's 3 months back. So we're in November right now. Well, we move backwards. We say October, September, and August. That's more a reflection of what's going on in your price range, and that's something that you want to be looking for. So again, you're taking advantage of the fall market still, but you're still in the holiday season. That's important to understand because, again, it's not just working in November. The other thing is that we see quite often is actually people getting better pricing just because of supply and demand. And Kelly, you brought this up in the last segment. You know, buyers know they need to move, and they tend to, not always, but they tend to have stronger offers because they just need to get that house. They want to move into it. So there are always going to be exceptions, and that's understandable. But most of the times we actually can get the same pricing or very, very, very close to it, to where people don't even notice, whether it be the spring, whether it be the summer, or whether it be the fall, during that winter time, because there is a rush to get in. Right now, just with the timing as we're recording this, is we're probably looking at the idea of maybe you would be closing your house on the market the first week of the year. I mean, you could have it that quickly, and I think that's really important. The other thing, too, is what most people don't know, and this has been going now for 2 to 3 years, maybe longer, that January has been either the second or third highest months in closed sales. Let me repeat that. January, for the past, I know, couple of years, and I don't see any reason why it won't happen this year, has been the second highest month in closed sales. So that means that people were looking in November, they were looking in December, and now they're closing in January. That's what we mean by of getting your house on the market if you so desire. With that said, I think we talked about the pricing issue. I think the other part, though, that we probably want to get into is how the house looks. And one of the other issues that we run into, and Kathy, I'll let you address this because you've been doing this for a very long time, that people don't want to decorate the holidays because they think that that's going to hurt their sale. And that's simply not true.
Actually, it's a big misconception. Your house never looks better, generally, than it does during the holidays. Everything's clean, it's decorated, it looks wonderful, it's cozy. It gives them that kind of at-home feeling when they come in to look at your home.
That's true. And Kelly, you probably have seen it too. But people get decorating ideas. I mean, they love the fact of being able to walk in there, not just decorating ideas, but it gives them ideas of what their house could look like, which then, perception is reality in this business, and buyers can see themselves where the Christmas tree is going to go down. I can string the lights here. There's a lighting switch for the outdoor lighting. That's one thing that I think people sometimes misconceive. So when you're putting your house on the market this time of season, decorate as you normally decorate. The other factor too, and Kelly, maybe you can address this a little bit more, but basically when you're doing the holidays, and this is just people, this is us as, not just as realtors, but just living in our homes as the holidays come up, that you have guests coming in. And so keeping the house tip-top shape is what you're doing anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you want to kind of stress upon is that, very simply, once you're on the market, you're actually killing two birds with one stone. And I think that's important for sellers to know also, is to make sure that you have, naturally your house is going to be in great working order, but it's also going to look sharp. And then again, the lights can be actually amazing. I mean, I've gotten to see some beautiful settings. But, we had a situation too. It doesn't just have to be in the holidays. We went into a house, I think it was back in August or something like that. It was in Belleville.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a Christmas tree that they kept up all year long.
Yeah, they had a room devoted to Christmas, and it was just really neat to see all her decorations and little snowmen, and just very cozy and homey.
And it was funny because one of the things that she said, and it turned out they were going to decide to wait longer into 2018. But one of the things that I know that they said was, I guess I'll have to get rid of this. And of course we said, absolutely not. Yeah, no, that's a feeling that you want.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have those type of things in there. Sentimental things, those are fantastic things. So again, it just goes back onto the holidays and making sure that you have your decorations up. Or if you don't want to do decorations, that's up to you. But by all means, please consider doing that. I think the other segment that comes into play that we hear about is the outside of the house. Mm-hmm. That the grass isn't as green, that this isn't, the trees, all the leaves have fallen off now, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And one thing to keep in mind is it's an even playing field. Everybody's leaves are gone. Mm-hmm. Everybody's grass isn't quite as maybe green as you'd want it, and that's okay. That's number one. I think number two is it doesn't happen too many times because we're always wishing for a white Christmas, right, guys? Mm-hmm. I mean, whether it just snows an inch, Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve through Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And we're done.
And then it all goes away and turns 70 degrees by, the end of Christmas Day. But again, those pictures can be stunning putting your house on the market. I mean, I've seen them, Kathy. I know maybe you've seen them also, where they just look beautiful. Mm-hmm. That you have the trees with the snow on them, and in the background if you have trees.
Actually, I was looking at some personal pictures of mine the other day, and we had snow on the ground with the outside lights and everything. It was just wonderful. It looked like a little wonderland just around our house. Yeah.
Right. Well, again, I like what you said there, Kelly. It's true. It is like a Christmas card. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how cool this stuff looks. And so, again, sellers, and I put this in the book all the time, sellers buy on emotion, mm-hmm. and then they also, then after they make an emotional decision, they justify with logic. Mm-hmm. So again, that's important to know. Perception is reality when we're talking about real estate. And that's why it's so important that when you do have the things, besides not just the Christmas, but you have your house, the lights on, you have all those things on, it just makes a very good warm flow to it. The only thing I would say to be a little careful of, anytime there's open flames, I would not necessarily put the fireplace on. That can freak people out, even if it's a gas log. They know they're leaving and they're afraid and something could go wrong, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that.
You put electric candles.
Electric candles. Well, that's true, too. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. Well, with that said, in the next segment, we're going to be talking more about the reasons why you should be putting your house on the market. If you want to. Of course, if you don't want to, we're not forcing you to. But the next reason might surprise many of you. You're listening to Ready, Set, Sold. I'm here with Kelly Etheridge and Kathy Popovich. We will see you shortly.